Real stories and fresh wisdom on the Front Porch. Join us with today's guest.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for being on my front porch again. We have Dr. Kruhly with us. Did I say your last name correctly this time?
You did. It's perfect.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for being here. Why don't you tell our audience just a little bit about who you are?
Uh, okay. So um, I'm an international distance healer, doctor, life engineer. So what I do, folks, is I've been studying like 54 years, and during that period of time, I acquired a certain amount of knowledge of quantum physics, energy. I have empowerments from India, Tibet, Japan. Um, so it all sort of came together and gelled. I'm a mystic, so I practice and I'm connected with the divine directly, and that's where a lot of my empowerments are coming specifically from. So what I do is people come to me from all over the world, and they can bring any kind of problem they want. It doesn't make any difference to me, whether it's your body and you're sick or you're hurt, or you have emotional issues or traumas. If you have business problems, it doesn't make any difference. I'm able to, in most cases, I'm able to take care of that for you. If it's something really, my specialty area ranges from the time you were conceived, the moment you were conceived, to whatever age you are now. So there are programs that affect our lives that are really, really huge, and they require divine intervention directly. So I have empowerments for prayer and so forth, so that I can call in that kind of support for my clients. Because if it's something like a karmic debt or a past life issue, something like that, or if it has anything to do with your astrological programs at the time that you contact me, I have no way to influence anything like that. So I call in the divine to take care of those things for you. So
Okay,
that's basically what I do. I'm a problem solver.
awesome. Oh, wow, that's great. I know when I read the information you sent me, there was so much on there, and I think as we get older in life, we do gather more information. Because we're learning
Yeah.
all the time, we're growing. I think when you stop learning, in fact, I had this told to me when I was very young, that when you stop learning, you start dying. So always learn all of your life. And
Yeah,
and that's
that's
great.
true, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It is.
so how did you get started on this journey?
I literally was born or incarnated for my purpose. I was aware of my purpose by consciously by the age of 3, and
Oh,
then it was um, it was a long, roundabout way to get to where I am now, but that's specifically the purpose that I was born for. And my specialty, see, is besides helping individuals, my real specialty is I'm able to influence large numbers of people at the same time. So if I have a gathering, let's say I have a gathering of people the size of a football stadium, I can help them all at the same time. That's called morphic field physics. Morphic field just means it's a big giant field, and
mhm.
I can remove some kind of fear, negative program, imprint for all of them at the same time relative to one specific question. I want you to realize it's always one specific question. So if I say, if I have 1,000 people as a collective, and then I'm gonna have them all ask at the same time, do I have fear of failure? So that is the specific question.
Okay.
When they ask the question, it will open their files in their subconscious mind. And the difference between me and most folks is I'm able to tie into the collective field that's created by the 1,000 people. Like just like you, when you're on your laptop and you want to ask a question to Google or to the AI, the computer is asking the question to the cloud,
Right.
where the information is. And it's a feed forward, feed backward system. So what I do, I'm able to do that consciously. And I can help them. So I find the answer in the cloud. I disassemble and disintegrate that fear of failure, and then it's gone relative to what we're talking about. So if it's a fear of failure at business, so everything goes by the question.
Okay.
It's got to be surgically precise. But that's what I can do, and that's what I was born for. I also
Right.
can do the same for animals or for a forest, a pond. It doesn't make anything that's biological, I can help them.
Okay. Now I know a lot of people are wondering, well, if you have 1,000 people asking the same question, you might get 1,000 answers to that. So
That's right.
how could you help each one of those with something like that?
Well,
Because they'll be so
so
different.
that's right. That's exactly right. And I do two collective healing sessions per month for folks.
Okay.
So, and then the healing session, each collective, it has a specific theme, right? Because everything's got to be the question. So what happens is with a collective, it's not a vertical dive. It is a horizontal sweep. So just like you said, you have 1,000 people, each person's subconscious mind, if we do the math, by the time you turn 7, when the frontal cortex of the brain activates, you have approximately 10 quadrillion bits of information in your software, in your subconscious. And that 10 quadrillion bits of information, none of it belongs to us. It belongs to mom and dad and everything in our environment. And it gives us all of our blueprint, values, what's good, what's bad, what hurts, what doesn't hurt, what's nice. Everything is there. And once the frontal cortex of your brain activates at 7 years old, everything that you experience is filtered. It filters everything through the subconscious. So I got 1,000 people. We asked one question, and that fear of failure is different for everybody.
Right.
And that all goes up into the cloud. When I tie in, I have like an arbitrary scale of how strong that fear of failure is, and it's I guess you could say it's sort of like what's going to show up that I read is the average, the strongest
Okay.
and the weakest. So basically, it'll be the strongest signal of that group. So then I start to disassemble it because anything and everything is entangled. Your subconscious records at a rate of 30 million bits of information, or pardon me, 40 million bits of information per second,
Wow.
24 hours a day. Yeah. So when
No wonder
you're in
my
your
brain
mother's
hurts.
womb, when you're in your mother's womb, let's say you're in the 3rd trimester, and something really scares mom. She steps out on the porch and there's a dog there that she doesn't know, and it growls at her, scares her really bad. And you're in the 3rd trimester in her tummy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're recording everything that's occurring to mom and that surround at a complexity of 40 million bits of information per second.
That's why we read to babies that aren't born yet, and or we play music or sing songs or communicate, with them. They
That's
say
right.
that makes a difference. So that explains that.
Makes a it makes a huge difference. So when I find the fear, it'll have major entanglements that you could say are the predominant average of that 1,000. And I start disassembling using what's called a destructive interference wave. I
Okay.
I disassemble those and I have to break it down, break it down, break it down until I can remove it totally. Then I have to check again for that 1,000. They ask the question again, do I still have fear of failure? And what I do is what I haven't explained. When I do this, I go all the way back for the 1,000 to the very first download that created the fear of failure.
Okay.
The very first download. So let's say dad, in what we call the third program. So you're still in mom. You're in somewhere in the trimesters, and dad's got to take a test, some new test for a job, and he's
Okay.
afraid to fail. You download that from dad, the fear of failure, but it occurred during the third trimester. So when I
Right.
look at the
Okay.
1,000, the first download relative to all 1,000 occurs in the third trimester. And it has a power on a scale of 0 to 10, arbitrary, let's say it's a 5. So I'm going to disassemble that and I remove the first download. Then I go up. Where's the second download? Might be during the birthing process. It might be after you're born at the age of 2. I trace them all and disassemble and disintegrate all of them till I get past the age of 7.
Okay.
Once I do that for the 1,000, we have removed the foundational creation of the fear of failure. We removed it. Now we come up to the present day, and all 1,000 say, right now, anywhere in my field, do I have a program that is either creating or sustaining fear of failure? So one guy's 20 years old, one person is 60 years old, and we're checking the present moment. Any program still doing that? We find it, we disassemble it, same process, and we disintegrate it. Now, when I check that 1,000, it's not there anymore. So what has occurred is all of the 1,000, their brain has recalibrated in real time. New neural nets have formed. Old neural nets have been broken. That changes their perception. When their perception has been changed, their overall frequency is changed because the fear of failure is gone now out of their primary frequency. That changes their reality. That changes their physiology. That changes everything by the law of resonance.
Wow.
And that's how my work. All I have to know with depth healing, all I need to know is the question. If we don't know the question, we can't. You can only fix or change or transform what has been made conscious. If
Okay.
it's not conscious, there's nothing you can do.
Well, that's interesting. Because people talk about mindset, about all that has gone on in the subconscious. So is that brought forward? So you're conscious of it now,
Yes,
and you can change it? Okay. So I'm
that's exactly
wondering,
right.
when you have groups of thousands and stuff, do you ever get any of those coming to you and say, "Hey, I was in the stadium when you did this, and it changed my life"? Do you have people ever come up to you?
All the time.
Really?
if, oh yeah, that's my biggest joy.
Oh, yeah.
That's why if you go, you can look at the testimonials. Um, and you can see, but so far the biggest groups that I've been able to work with, because it's not easy to find anyone that wants to try that, is professional sport. So I take an entire hockey team, and they're on the ice in real time, and I'm connected to an observer for the game because I'm in Thailand. They're playing in Georgia.
Right.
And I can alter the entire team in real time, and then the coach and the observers confirm the changes. So
That's interesting. That almost sounds like cheating.
it sounds like it, except for one caveat. I cannot influence the other team, so I can't guarantee you win because the other team has their own skill.
Right.
So you cannot use this to manipulate behavior. That would be like a realm of something like black magic. Is like that's a different.
Right.
That's ugly, and it's got nothing to do with me.
So what are you doing with the team then? If it's not, to use
I'm removing interference. So let's say the team is each of the athletes. First, you have the individual athlete. So let's say I have a golfer, and the golfer is very, very good. When I look at him, let's say he has the ability to play on a scale of 0 to 10. Let's say he's a skill level of a 9, but he's only playing in competition at a 5. Why? There will be a stress or an interference pattern that is affecting his fine motor control. So I remove this. I find the stress and remove it. Take the static out of the system, and then his body functions smoothly. Now with the hockey team, a lot of times you'll see a team when they're on their home ice, they play very well. When they go to the other stadium, they don't play so well. Well, the energy in their own stadium, that's one field. Second is their own fans, and all of that is affecting their perception set. And their perception set is either supporting their physical skills and energy, or it's hindering it. So I find that and I remove it, and I remove it as a collective. So I look at a picture of the whole team. I have a photo of the whole team so I can see them as a group. And then the questions I'm asking are specific to what will make the whole group more cohesive, better internal communication, more awareness of each other, what will bring them up to their highest skill set that they're capable of as a collective. And the feedback shows it works. I mean, they make huge differences. I have actually right after this podcast, I'm meeting a new hockey team that was just assembled by head coach Kevin St. Jacques, and I'm meeting them, all the boys ages 16 to 20, and then later, not today, I'm taking care of the Columbus River Dragons hockey team in Georgia under Jerome Bichard, head coach. And then I took care of Coach Lauren Ellison's volleyball teams in Houston, Texas. So I have the testimonials for all those guys because it blows their mind, because they're over there and I'm over here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because there's, we talk about energy waves and how like a parent can be thinking of a child or a child can be thinking of the parent, and one will call the other and said, I was just thinking about you. Yeah.
That's right.
That's always
You
cool.
can do that consciously. See, if you want to have some fun with that, my wife is in Norway. She's working over there. I'm in Thailand. and I miss her. So all I have to do, you take if you want, you might be like me and you might not be like me. I like to have a picture. So I put a picture up of my girl and I just send her love and connect with her. And she feels that. And then she doesn't know. Then she calls me or she feels, because I can, you can do that for anybody, especially your own family, anyone that you love.
Right.
The heart is the key to everything, not the brain, the heart. So that with your heart and with love, you can alter the state of and connect with and bond with or help anybody that you really love. All you have to do is intend it. And if you're like me and you're with the divine, with God in any form, ask him, say, connect my heart with my son. It works.
That's interesting. I was on a flight and I saw someone had a little bracelet, and on it they rub the surface of it, and it actually sends an electronic message to the other person who's wearing a bracelet.
Oh,
And every time they rub it,
cool.
it lets them know that they love each other.
Oh, that's
So you
cool.
can do this without the bracelet, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that people like myself, Dr. Sue Morter, um, I can't think right off the bat right now, others that are my contemporaries. But what we really want you to know is you do not have to, a human being does not have to have technology. You're the biggest technology.
Yeah.
Not,
Oh yeah.
but we don't know that. And it does take a certain level of evolution. Hey, that's why when I said I have empowerments, please understand what that means. I don't want your audience thinking that I have any kind of power. I have no power at all. I'm a relay station.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
And then an empowerment simply means my nervous system and my etheric system, we call the prana. You have a physical body and you have an energy body. When you get an empowerment, it's given to you by a master. You don't get it at a weekend seminar. You spend years.
No. It's like Reiki.
That's right. That's right. When I became I have a Reiki master in the Tibetan system, and it took 3 years. But what happens is the person, the practitioner's system is upgraded to carry the big heavy frequencies that he's going to channel or she's going to channel. Otherwise, if the practitioner isn't properly conditioned, what they're channeling can hurt them big time.
Right.
Big time.
So
people should never play with energy.
no, that's true. Ever stick your finger in a light socket, you understand the quickness of it.
That's right.
So I do want to talk a little bit more about your becoming this, because as entrepreneurs, we all start somewhere. You were really blessed with knowing, that you started at 3. Most of us can take a long time before we get there. But how did you handle? I mean, obviously you went to school knowing that you were like this. Were there issues while you were in grade school with the other students, with other kids? How do you handle that kind of thing? I mean, there's a lot of bullying and other stuff going on. So how did you navigate that kind of thing?
Well, what happened with me was I was the first boy, so I was my dad's oldest son, and then later I have a younger brother that passed away now, 3 years younger. I have a much older sister that 9 years older. So when I was born, everybody is super happy really proud because I'm the boy, right? So my subconscious mind was absorbing everything wonderful, and I was very immersed. I was always immersed in nature, or always. I grew up in Canada, and our home was out in the country, and I'm not a city guy at all. But anyway, my subconscious is everything's wonderful. I'm loved, cherished. And then they put me in school. I was only 6. The fourth program ends when you turn 7.
Okay.
The third program begins when you are conceived. The fourth program begins after you're born. It's the first there's the first 6 hours after you're born, very critical. That's third program. Fourth program begins after those 6 hours and ends when the frontal cortex activates and you go from theta brainwave pattern to an alpha brainwave pattern. Well, they put you in school before the age of 7. So I was 6, and the teacher, I remember her very vividly. She hated my guts.
Oh.
And she failed me. Yeah, she used to take me down the hall, grab a hold of me. She was a real tall, elderly lady, drag me down the hall, and they used to whip you with a big leather strap across the hands and traumatize the heck out of me. And then they failed me. And back in those days in Windsor, Ontario, if you can imagine this, they used to take all of the children's grades and publish it in the public newspaper. Windsor only had one newspaper, the Windsor Star.
Right.
So my father, all his buddies, he was an electrician at Ford. All of the men who knew him saw that his first son failed kindergarten. And he was humiliated. He was a really good man, but he didn't know how to handle that emotionally at all.
Right.
And so at the age of 6, just as I'm finishing my subconscious theta time, the whole family abandoned me emotionally for the rest of my life. So I went from being loved to being 1,000,000% rejected. And then I was humiliated when I went back to school, of course. At the age of 7, I was completely humiliated at school. So you talk about the bullies, the older guys. Now, what I did was I went into myself because I just couldn't understand anything at all. And I just went into myself. I became a fighter. I was by the grade 8, I could beat the hell out of anybody that walked. I mean, nobody takes me. My dad was a boxer in World War II. You think of my father, just think of Charles Bronson, just like him. And I became a real hard, tough guy. Why did I do that? Well, when I used to watch, since Dad wasn't spending any time or have nothing to do with me, so I looked for a father figure. Where do I look? Because there's nobody around. Television. And I always noticed that the guys that were loved and respected were the tough guys. And that's why I became a fighter. When I was really young, I was a fighter because I was scared. As I got older, I'm not scared. So the fighter led me at the age of 13 into Japanese martial art. By the age of 18, I was a professional studying under a really high-level master who had come from Japan, Kushida. And that introduced me into the Dharma and Heiho, we call Heiho. So it's a Japanese martial slash spiritual training, Zen training.
Okay.
I became one of North America's highest Aikido teachers. And that's when many years later, I was a teacher in California. I taught NASA. I taught Silicon Valley execs, and I taught the military. So I'm the real deal. I mean, there's nothing hobby about me. I have 50,000 hours on the mats just in Aikido alone. And then I went from Aikido into just professional Japanese sword. I have over 26 years on that. But you see, what happened was that pathway got me injured really badly. So throughout my whole martial career, I broke my back in half when I was 27.
Oh.
I've had 3 knee operations. I've busted my shoulders. And what that was all about is it led me to world-renowned healers, the greatest doctors on the planet. So for 16 years, I was the patient of George Goodhart Jr., the founder of applied kinesiology. And when I broke my back in half, it was those guys that fixed me up without any operation. I never had to have any operation. So I learned self-healing. And then through George Goodhart Jr., I met Gary Klepper, Dr. Gary Klepper, Peerless, Alan Zatkin, Lou Bovin, a whole plethora of these men. And I studied from them about healing, self-healing. And that led me, so there was a healing pathway going along with my martial pathway. And then when I moved to California, I was introduced to real tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is Sufi, Middle Eastern Sufi spiritual tradition. And I served the Mufti of Cyprus. He passed away now, was Maulana Sheikh Muhammad Nazim al-Haqqani. He's a real thing. So he's a real sheikh. He can wave his hand. I watched him. He can go like that and all the lights turn on, go like that, all the lights shut off. He's just like Yoda.
Don't need a clapper.
No.
Those
And
that are young and don't understand that. Yeah, we used to have this thing that you could plug into the walls, plug your electronics in, and clap your hands, turn on, clap your hands, and then turn off. Sorry, I really dated myself there. This way, we just wave the hand, and that works.
So during my 4 years, I did 4 years of very complete submersion into Sufism. And it was from Sheikh Nazim that I saw and was introduced to real mysticism and what it actually is, how it works, why it works. And, I learned so much. And then I left them. I left everything Middle Eastern back in 1996. But, with Sheikh Nazim, I was as poor as a church mouse and just sleeping on floors in California, anywhere that someone would let me sleep. He just did one prayer when I met him at San Francisco. He would one little prayer, and within 1 week, a guy came and just gave me $40,000. And I built the Dosatsu Ken dojo. It was my dojo all from one prayer. And then from that dojo, my work as a sensei spread across the world. That's where I taught the military, NASA, helped battered women, rape victims, Alcoholics Anonymous. I did all that stuff. But one day, on the year 2000, the landlord died. Mm-hmm. When he died, his son illegally commandeered my dojo. I lived in the dojo. Okay. All of a sudden, overnight, I lost all my work. I lost all my students. And most importantly, I was homeless. And for the first time in my life, I didn't know what to do. I always knew what to do from the time I was born till then.
Right.
So
That had to be
some
scary
wonderful
for
people.
you,
Oh,
right?
Christ. Are you kidding? I didn't, I absolutely, I didn't know anything could take away my dojo, my students, all my work. Uh, I didn't know that that was even possible. So it took me, we were able to sue them. These lovely people came up. The divine brought me some wonderful folks. A nice old gentleman took me into his house, Stu Hoffer. Love that guy. He passed away now, but he's what a wonderful, wonderful man. And I was in a state of rage for for many, many years. It eventually gave me cancer in my right side of my chest from epigenetic development. But anyway, it took me. I didn't know what to do. We sued them, but it took 2 years, and I didn't know which way to go. I just knew that I could never be a sensei again. And then everybody said, you know, you always heal everybody. Why don't you become a doctor? So I was in my late 40s and I went back to school and became a doctor. We took the money from the lawsuit and I headed off into back to college. And I eventually graduated in Texas. That's where I met my ex-wife, Tammy. She's a Texan. And then when I graduated, I was licensed as a doctor in Georgia and Tennessee. We moved to Georgia, and that's where I met the great, great, great master that is responsible for my knowledge now, and that is Dr. Larry Habersky. So Larry, I couldn't say enough about him. He's a guy, you know, he's like it's like a movie because he's so low key. He's got his little office outside of Atlanta, and he's a master, just unbelievable. He taught me. I apprenticed under him for 8 years, and he's the one who taught me about cognitive dissonance, about how spirit, the divine energy, the field. He's the one who taught me how to master self-kinesiology so I can talk surgically with precision to the field. Everything transformed me from an ordinary chiropractor into the doc I am now. And and also in Georgia, I became a Reiki master there under Kaya Aman. It's a very powerful healer. And then I was introduced by his top man was Russell Holcomb. He introduced me and got me reinstated with Padmasambhava of Tibet. I received my empowerments there through them. And then that led me to Sri Ama Bhagavan, the avatars in India, and oneness. And that's where I received my empowerments for what's called a constructive interference wave. Padmasambhava Tibet handles the destructive interference waves. The constructive interference wave is where I build our consciousness up and advance the system. That comes through India. So it's been it's a very, very long process. And now what I do, I receive upgrades every single week through India.
Okay.
To deepen my abilities. Yeah. Did I answer your question or did I just ramble
yes.
all over the place?
No, that was great. That's a big history. Yeah, so do you say you talk to groups twice a month? Is that what you were telling me?
Yeah, two times a month. Like I have another collective. I'm going to make some voice recordings about it today. So every month there is a collective, it's only $50. I did that because so many people, money is really tough. So I do the collective, and then we advertise it so they know what it's about. But all of them always think of collectives or this kind of work. It's all interconnected. So picking and choosing isn't really the wisest thing to do. The wisest thing is, since everything is connected, you will never not benefit. So the one coming up, the last one for this month, is on gratitude. So because you know how I call my system depth healing. The trick with our society and the way everybody's been programmed, it's always very, very superficial.
Right.
So I always do things a lot deeper. And gratitude is considered one of the, even by modern science, neurology, one of the most powerful of all emotions and frequencies. It's enormously important. So I'm ending this month, September, with gratitude. And then in October, the first one will be taking in a wealth consciousness inventory, where they're at. So that if there's fear or lack, I'm going to remove that. And then the end of October, I'll help them with their year-end for 2025 year-end vision, what they want, how they want to end the year, and what they want to create in 2026. And I'm doing all of this at the subconscious level, right? Then November, I'll start off by healing their physical body, removing any pain, any kind of injury. And the second one for November, I will heal any kind of emotional traumas that occurred during this year. A lot of people, there was a lot of death in families, friends, all kinds of stuff. I remove that. Like if there's a post-traumatic stress, I just disintegrate it. December, we will start off the first one with forgiveness. And then the last one of December is building their bond with their divine.
Okay.
If they have one, we'll strengthen it. If they don't know how to bond with the divine, I'll tell them how.
All right.
And that
So
way,
you have a website that everybody can go to?
Absolutely. But I want you to know something.
Okay.
When you look at the website, we're right now, I had to remove my old admin, and the website, as I don't like the way it looks at all. It's being replaced.
Okay.
We're in the process of that right now. So if you go to that thing, because that's where you got to go to schedule yourself. Just go to privates or look for the collective, and just know that very soon, I hope sooner than later, the final new website is completed. We're just doing the last little bits of tweaks and this and that,
Okay.
and then it'll be nice and simple and clean. So you just look for collectives or for privates. It's an automated system. You just schedule yourself in, and I highly recommend it. All you got to do is try, and I think you'll be astounded at what happens.
Okay. And what's the name of the website?
The website is called, and that will stay the same. It's called Depth Healing, all one word, depthhealing.org.
Okay.
O-R-G, not .com.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then once a month I do the big full moon ceremony. Don't forget that. That's free. And that's strictly a service for people to present their prayers directly to God, and they can be assured the prayer is heard. Period.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I provide that platform.
So as faith-based, why would and because I've talked with others similar to you. I do know the answer, but there might be people listening saying, why do I have to go to you to talk to God when I can talk to God directly?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You don't need to go through me. All I can promise you is this. I have, let's say, all of us anywhere, every human being, everybody is always connected with God, or you wouldn't be here. And the same thing with all the leaves, or an ant, or anything.
Right.
All I'm saying to you is, I have a specific. I'm like an I have the ability to be an amplifier, because people talk to God all the time and they don't get any answers, and there are reasons for that.
That's right. That's right.
There are reasons. I know the reasons. So
Yeah.
and then what happens is, like when we do it at a full moon,
Okay.
a full moon acts as an amplifier.
Oh,
The
that's
whole solar system, like right now, we're in what I call the red zone. It's a danger zone right now.
why is
Why?
that?
Because this month, September, is a very volatile, chaotic time. It started off with a full moon with an eclipse,
Right.
and then the vortex began. We're coming up on the 21st. I don't know when this will air, but the 21st is coming up. Now that eclipse has a ramp up period. So we're between two eclipses right now.
Right.
There's a ramp up period right before the eclipse on the 21st, the 18th, 19th, 20th. And then there's a ramp down period from the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Now, I just made we're going to try to put it out. I just wrote it yesterday. What happens is the solar system magnifies and amplifies the field. What is the field right now? It's the entire world is in fear, anger, war, calamities of every kind, and all of the calamities were prophesied for the last several thousand years, and they're all hitting. So what happens is, when you they have science to prove this. They've charted revolutions, wars, all of that stuff, all the way back to the beginning of written history, with the sun cycles and astrology. That's all fact. So what happens is, the world right now is like a powder keg. They just gunned that poor kid down, whatever his name is, Kirk somebody. They
Right.
just shot him
Charlie.
right in public. You know, they're that close to every kind of level of war you want.
Right.
And now you have this ramp up period for the eclipse. So it's very, very volatile. What does it do to us on a personal level? On a personal level, this is the time where you want to be journaling and noticing if you have especially repetitive negative thoughts, or moods that are coming up, anger, watching for relationships falling apart, a whole different life pathway suddenly happening. All of those kinds of things they get stirred up in your consciousness because of the astrological power. Astrological power is no way to measure that, how much influence that has. That's the real thing. So we're in that right now, and so what does it have to do with me? If you have something, remember I told you when we began, you can only clear what you see, what becomes conscious.
Right.
These things are great tools for us if we pay attention to what's going on inside. You bring it to me and I'll remove it. I'll
Okay.
change it. So all of that is now, right now. Very, very critical time. Once we get through this, and God willing, it'll be okay. Everything will be okay. Then we move into a whole different cycle, and we get ready for the new year. But right now, you have to understand you got a powder keg right here, and all you need is the right spark,
Yeah.
and the whole thing goes. And that's where we're at.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
So give us your website again.
yeah, it's depth healing, all one word, .org. O-R-G.
.org. Okay, great. Great.
Yeah.
So do you have any closing thoughts for our listeners or our viewers?
Yes. If you like Jim Rohn says, if we will change, everything will change.
Yes.
The caveat to that is this: people want to change. The change doesn't happen because of cognitive dissonance. So if you want actual change, like the way I change, I'm so different. I'm the living proof of what I talk about. I'm so different. It looked like it would be like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. How did that happen? Well, the cognitive dissonance was removed. And cognitive dissonance will always win because it's a ratio of 1 million to 1.
Wow.
1 million is the power of the subconscious. 1 is the power of your the front of your brain, where you have the idea of what you want to change.
Right.
The subconscious will always win. So if there is a cognitive dissonance there, that like say you absorb something from mom or dad when you were a little child that says you can't do something, you're never going to do that. That will always win no matter how hard you try. Millions and millions and millions of people, they go to Tony Robbins or whoever,
Right.
and they go
Because they
nowhere.
want to change that.
Yeah, but nothing ever happened. The people where it will happen, they don't have cognitive dissonance. If they have cognitive dissonance, I did it for 30 years. I started with Tony Robbins at the age of 18. I never could make a dime. Now
Wow.
I'm a very wealthy man because I removed the cognitive dissonance. I grew up with the programming from my pop. He's always worked well, but he had lack consciousness because he grew up in the Great Depression.
Right.
I had that all programmed in me, so I could never make money. I had all kinds of titles and skill and this and that, and never made a dime ever. And then when Dr. Habersky, when I met him, so this is in my late 40s, and he removed the cognitive dissonance about money, I have money. That's the way. So my message to you is, if you want to really evolve, change, you want success, or you want to really live differently, get a hold of me and let me show you what depth healing can do and how fast it'll do it. Because this is I'm sorry, this is the real deal. It's really, it really works.
Well, thank you. And for those that are
You're
looking
welcome.
that big change, go to depthhealing.org and
Yeah,
connect
I'll
with Dr.
take care of
Kruhly.
you folks. That's what I
Yeah.
live for.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. This is so
You're
great.
so
All the way
welcome.
from Thailand here to Texas. And to your front
Whereabouts are you in Texas again?
Austin area.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah.
love that.
Beautiful.
I
Beautiful
love
right
that.
now.
One time, Tammy and I, on one of our anniversaries, I still remember it. We went to Austin for the anniversary, and we found this lovely. Tammy always was able to find the most beautiful hotel. It was like was a small, old style, classical place, and I loved it. It was just
Oh,
beautiful.
awesome. Awesome. Well, thank
I
you
love
for being
Texas.
here, and thank you, our
You're
audience, for
welcome.
being here. And if you want to succeed at different things, get a hold of Dr. Kruhly. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
care of you.
And we'll see you next time on Wisdom on the Front Porch. Be sure to check out our website, wisdomonthefrontporch.com. We just got out our latest magazine, really great issue in it. Lots
Cool.
of I think we had like 6 guests who put in their own articles, plus all the
Wow.
great advertisers that we have, and you can subscribe to it. We
Wow.
just released the print magazine, and
Wow.
it's a little more because we need a larger subscriber set for the print, because the more you print, the lower the price goes, which I guess I understand, especially in today's costs. But yeah, it's
Wow.
really great. We've got the e-magazine that's out. Plus, we have subscriptions for the
Wow.
podcast to
You're a
help
busy
everybody.
lady, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's more.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time on
Thank you.
Wisdom on the Front Porch.
Thank you, my Front Porch friends and neighbors, for pulling up a chair with me and my guest today on Wisdom on the Front Porch. Now, if you've got value from this conversation, would you do me a favor? Leave a quick review, then share it with someone you know who could use some inspiration. It helps more friends find their seat on the porch. And hey, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what's next. Until then, keep the porch light on for new wisdom every time you show up. Your seat's always here for you on the porch.